All right, welcome to all of you to this new case study session organized by the Global Supply Chain Council. My name is Max Henry. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm very happy again to have all of you joining us for this case study. Just to let you know, our case study format is very straightforward. We're going to have, we typically invite a senior leader from end user shipper coming from the industry to actually present one of their aspect of their supply chain operations. So that speaker usually will present for about 20 to 25 minutes. And after that, we will, of course, take all your questions. And if you have any questions at any time, you can click on the question mark button located at the bottom of the screen. We'll make sure to, again, prioritize those questions during the Q&A sessions. So today, we're very pleased, again, to have Andy Yu, who is the SVP of Global Supply Chain International at Schneider Electric. Andy is based in Singapore, and he has over 20 years experience in supply chain roles. Before joining Schneider, he has worked with Schneider for over 14 years now in different positions. He also has worked with Delphi and Intel, among other companies. So we're very happy to have you, Andy. Welcome, Andy. How are you?
Very good. Thank you, Max, for the introduction. It's my pleasure to join this case study and the sharing session.
Great, excellent. So we're all ready to hear from you. You can go ahead and start. And again, if you're just joining us, get ready for an interactive Q&A after that. So don't hesitate to ask your questions at any time. Go ahead, Andy. Welcome.
Okay, and in today's session, I'm going to cover three agenda. So in the beginning, I have a quick introduction of who is Schneider and also our sustainability strategy. After that, I also want to share how our supply chain strategy and sustainability inside the supply chain strategy. Then we have a zoom in on sustainable supply chain. We'll cover scope 1 and 2, our own operation. Then we'll also cover scope 3, mainly focus on the supplier side, how we can help them decarbonize. And also one thing very important that can support or killing this initiative is how we drive also the sustainability culture transformation. With that being said, first one, for Schneider Electric, it's really a purpose-driven company. So our purpose is to create impact by empowering all to make the most of our energy and resources. So within Schneider, we usually call ourselves, we have the green blood inside our vessel. And also when the HR team to do the survey checking to see why the people in our company joining and stay in Schneider, one of the top 3 reasons is one of them is sustainability, because the whole company are really commitment in the day-to-day operation. We are driving this sustainability topic. And if you look at the 2024 performance, in fact, this company is a quite a technology-driven company and a very focused company. We focus on 2 business units. One is called energy management, focus on energy transition, or the decarbon, or the electrification, these things. The other side will focus on industrial automation, really link with the industry 4.0, smart factory, smart operation, etc. And we also develop and buy a lot of software company. So with this software can really create the link of the 2 business units and also build up a more, the more advanced solution which can benefit the customer. Overall, right, it's a 38 billion revenue. We have 8% growth last year with 115K employees over 100 countries. So it's quite balanced in the different geography. So overall, this is a quick introduction of Schneider Electric. And also the company, we are quite humble and also quite proud that we are ranked as #1 as the most sustainable company by Time Magazine in 2024. And also in 2025, we are also awarded as the first place, as the most sustainable corporation by Corporate Right. And this is, we are the single company that has been twice recognized as the #1 as most sustainable corporation by Corporate Knights. And how we drive that, I only want to call out three key points. One is we do believe now the world faces a big challenge. So, and how to drive that, we are thinking about by two sides. One is on the demand side. We do believe all the digital things, all the smart things we're talking about can really help us to reduce, optimize the demand side on energy consumption. Then on the supply side, we believe we also need to transit to the electrification. We are using a lot of fossil oil, the traditional electricity generation way, but we believe we need a more electrification so that with these two combined together, and we call it the green and the smart, we can build a more sustainable world. And also within the company here, you can see it's quite a detail. I will not go through each of them. You see internally we have 12 KPI to really tracking quarter by quarter how we are progress versus our commitment versus our target. It covering end to end, from our own operation, from supplier, from resources efficiency, green material, from equality, how we increase gender diversity, very detailed, I would say, indicator. And the most important is this indicator is contributed to everyone's bonus. So this is at least contributed roughly 25% of the overall, each of the employee in Schneider gets the yearly bonus. So it's really become real. That is also one of the way how we drive the sustainability culture. On top of that, in fact, sustainability is not only within our own operation with supplier, how we drive that. We also develop sustainability as a business, because what we sold, our product, our solution, as I mentioned in the beginning, we can help our customer to optimize their energy consumption, and we also work with, for many of our customers, for example, 40% of the Fortune 500 company, they are our customer. We provide this solution. We also provide the PPA, and we also provide the sustainability consulting business. So we have a very clear, the strategy to help the customer, help our partner to decarbonize. We call it strategize, then digitize. You can measure that, so you can more know how we are moving on. Also, digital is also a very strong pillar with AI. All the things can really help us to reduce the consumption and then decarbonize. So with that being said, I think you have an overview on how, who is Schneider Electric and how sustainability play a key role in the company, not only to say it's a responsibility, but we also view it as a good business for the whole company. And next, I'm going to cover supply chain strategy and also sustainability. So in our supply chain, firstly, our supply chain is the one end-to-end supply chain. We have a chief supply chain officer reporting to our CEO, and all the function from source, our chief procurement officer reporting to our chief supply chain officer, from make, all the factory also reporting to the chief supply chain officer, then deliver, plan, care, all of this is under one chief supply chain officer at the corporate level. And in the last almost 20 years, we really drive with so-called supply chain transformation. Every 3 years, we will focus on critical field, less than 10 transformation. Then within these 3 years, we make sure in this 10 initiative, we really step up. Then after that, we can drive something new on top of that. This journey has been lasting for last 15 or 20 years. The recent one, we call it impact supply chain, on people, planet, customer, and the performance. So sustainability supply chain is one key pillar on planet. You can see we're talking about responsibility, ethical, and safe. And also we're talking about the decarbonization, net zero ready, on the end-to-end supply chain. And also how it can be more resource efficiency. We're talking about the circular supply chain. And also, as I mentioned, our commitment is covering end-to-end. I just quickly call out by 2030, we want to become a net zero CO2 operation in all our own operation without any CO2 offset. And for example, now in each of my plant, my DC, they have a roadmap. Also, it's by 2030, but we can see year by year how much they will reduce. Then we measure the progress based on the plan. And also on the supplier side, later I will also share, we have the, the net CO2 program with the supplier. And for sure, we also help our customer to decarbonize them. Then for our own supply chain, I just give one or two good example. For example, inside every facility within Schneider, we have a lot of, we encourage the team a lot of innovation to drive the energy efficiency. If you can see, I just give one example. For example, in my scope on the right corner is in Batam in Indonesia. It's one of the smart lighthouse factory. So the factory using this AI powered predictive maintenance. Then with that they can optimize the one of the most energy consumption station in the factory. We call the load motor. So with that one they can automatically to optimize the load so that they can reduce like 900 tons CO2 reduction. Also, for example, there's another example in Europe. We also they also develop some solution to make sure when the machine is not running, when the line, because for each of the line we have the status in our digital tool. When the line become idle, they install all the sensor or the IoT platform. So when the line is idle, immediately all these compressed air, all the other energy consumption will stop. So this one also, all these kind of many small action really enable us to continuously achieve higher energy efficiency. You can see that this is within 3 years we can reduce 16% of the energy efficiency. This has been continued in the last 15 years. I remember when I was a plant manager, I also discussed a lot with my salary function how we can do many of these energy efficient action. How we change the light to the more LED light, all the other things. I will not list down so much here. Resource efficiency also, we are talking about the circular through a very integrated approach from design until here. We talk a lot about the sustainable material, including green material, packaging, how we can kill the single-use plastics. Also we are quite proud. We get the circular lighthouse by World Economic Forum. And also here, after we sell the product, we have the eco care, eco feed, so that we can extend the asset lifetime. We also have the take back program after the product has been finished, end of life. So here is another example. Within this circular, we are talking about the sustainable material, and by end of this year, we should reach 100% of using all the green material. Now you see that we are tracking this one in a very intensive way. I almost every month have a review with my team to say, for example, how they use the paper tape to replace the plastic tape. You go to the warehouse, you see many, the single-use film. All these things we are tracking. We have a close follow-up. We encourage everyone to innovate to see how we can achieve this target. Next, I will share a quick video. In fact, is in my India factory, our Hyderabad factory. We are recognized by World Economic Forum as the Sustainability Lighthouse. I'll quickly show the video so you have more sense on what we are talking about inside our own facility.
Okay, looks like we don't have any sound, Andy, for some reasons.
So I believe I need to remove my headset. Just one moment.
Try again, yeah. Okay.
Schneider Electric started its journey in India back in 1963, and over the last 60 years, we have expanded significantly in the country, making strong contributions towards India's economic and social growth. Hi, my name is Lalita, and I handle supply chain performance at Schneider Electric. We are proud to take you through a truly world-class smart manufacturing unit, an advanced lighthouse factory as declared by the World Economic Forum. EcoStructure is our IoT-enabled system architecture and platform, which includes connected products, edge control, apps and analytics and services. IoT infrastructure, predictive and prescriptive analytics, machine and deep learning technologies, and artificial intelligence have been deployed extensively throughout the smart factory to fulfill the dynamic demands of our customers. We manufacture mission-critical products like circuit breakers, contactors, industrial switching and control products, enabling electrical safety for the India and for the world. Through our Hyderabad Smart Factory and other factories across the country, our goal is to make a strong contribution to the Make in India mission of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi.
In our endeavor of making the smart factory greener, powered by our EcoStructure platform, digital twin and digital analytics, we have achieved significant benefits like reduced energy consumption by 22%, CO2 reduction by 66%, water consumption reduced by 22%, optimization of waste by 25%, reduction in GHG emissions by 20%. With our focus towards electrification and digitization, we are committed to empowering people to make the most of their energy and resources, bridging human progress and sustainability for all.
So I think that is some example how we drive the sustainable supply chain within our own facility. Then I'll go to scope 3, how we partnership with supplier to also move on with this topic. And with the supplier, because we believe it's really the partnership and ecosystem. We cannot only do by our own because it's a huge challenge for the world, for the whole humankind. And we want to also mobilize with all this ecosystem on this journey. This one for sure. First thing is we are targeting our top 1,000 supplier, and this 1,000 supplier, in fact, basically contribute 70% of all the the CO2 emission from all the supplier base. Then we target to reduce by 50% reduction. So you can see, we call the 3-step approach. Firstly, we want to also quantify and measure, the CO2 emission to build the baseline. Because if you cannot measure, we cannot really reduce that. Then we align with the supplier top executive team to set the ambition together, strategy and goals. Then after that, we are very closely tracking the progress. By end of 2024, we already engaged like more than 1,000 supplier, and also we achieve 40% CO2 reduction. So we have 1 year to go, another 10% to reduce, and we are in the right track on this journey. So here I also want to quickly show one video so you know what exactly we are doing in the supplier side. You can also see some very specific initiative technology they are using to drive the CO2 reduction.
Today we are facing an unprecedented climate crisis. There is a very strong chance that we will breach the 1.5 degree trajectory in next 3 years, much faster than what we anticipated. We have started an ambitious zero carbon project with our top 1,000 suppliers globally and working with them very closely to reduce their carbon emission.
Reducing GHG emission without compromising growth is the main driver behind our strategy. We formed a cross-function team to brainstorm various decarbonization actions across our multi-site operations. We implemented several decarbonization levers like rooftop solar is installed across our sites. Currently, more than 10% of our group's electricity consumption comes from solar, which helps us in reducing more than 600 tons of carbon emission per year. We worked on power factor improvement by introducing fine range of capacitors, which reduced the difference between kWh and kVAH and saved more than 60 tons of carbon emission per year. We refurbished and upgraded our old underground compressor supply to an overhead PPCH airline. It reduced almost 10% of the load due to leakage arrest and gave almost 40 tons of emission savings per year. Our traditional light system was replaced with more energy efficient LEDs. Recently, we have conducted detailed energy audit for one of our sites and received very good improvement points from the audit. Just to quote a simple example, based on inputs from this audit, we are using natural daylight more efficiently, thereby reducing consumption of electricity and carbon emission. We have already planned to do energy audits in our other locations in the upcoming month. All these actions helped us to reduce our carbon intensity by 58% by end of 2022. We are also working on VFD installation, motion sensor implementation, and operational efficiency improvement. Schneider Electric has been a great partner in this journey. The various trainings, the I Accelerate Zero Carbon Day workshop, and digital tools like emission calculator helped us significantly. To enhance transparency, we have started publishing our GHG emission data on our webpage. Thanks to Schneider Electric for the continued support and guidance on this.
I think in the beginning, the team really spent a lot of efforts with the supplier, with workshops, and also to make sure we are strategically aligned on this sustainability, the target and ambition. Because in the beginning, there's some worry to say, if I drive this, will my cost increase? Should I increase the price? There are many this kind of doubt. But luckily we go through that. Now we are in the now it's more I would say in the mature phase, then the things are running quite smooth as per plan. And here, one important thing is we also talk about, during the journey, how we can also continuously build the strong foundation of people and the culture. So the ambition is we want all employees become the sustainability ambassador here. So I think we also started this, the ambassador program. We have in the beginning we only have like 20 something people. Now we continuously promoting this one. By end of 2024, we already reached like more than 50, 100. And also we have a lot of training for the employee, and also we encourage each site. They have some local initiative as well, right, within their local community, and also with collaboration with the supplier. Just now we share that, and also with customer. So with these kind of different initiatives, also a very structured measurement on the progress, also link with, as I mentioned in the beginning, the bonus, the reward of every employee. We really build a quite a strong sustainability culture across the whole company, not only supply chain. If you go to other function department, you can see the similar spirit. So with that, I think I finished today's sharing. I'm also want to get inputs and learn from others in this meeting. I hand it back over to you, Max.
Thanks a lot, Andy. If you could put back your headset, so I don't have that echo again. That would be great. Again, thank you very much for this presentation. Very interesting. And again, as you can see already, some people asking questions. I want to remind to those who just joined a little bit later that this session is being recorded. So if you miss part of it, you'll be able to watch the replay starting from tomorrow. If you have a question, there's still time for you to ask. So you can just press on the question button located at the bottom of the screen. And this way we'll get all those questions in the Q&A section, and we'll be able to answer them one by one. But before I jump into those questions, maybe I wanted to ask you, Andy, you share again the evolution towards what you call the tailored, sustainable, connected supply chain. What was the most difficult phase of this transformation, and how did you actually overcome it?
I think it's really a journey. It's not only like the tailored, sustainable, and the connected 4.0. Before that, we already have, if you remember, we have the so-called tailored supply chain 2.0. that one really solved the issue that the supply chain is not a one size fits all. It's really, we should, based on the different customer buying behavior, then we streamline the end-to-end supply chain. This one already like transformed in the previous 6 years. After that, we do in a phase that is around the 2017 or 2016. We believe digital will be a strong game changer if we want to continuously drive the performance to another level for the future years. So that's the reason we call it the so-called the C. C, in fact, is connected, and we set up the different digital strategy by function, and also most important is how we can connect the end to end. I think the biggest challenge is in the beginning. For example, we launched this, and under the end-to-end digital supply chain program, we have so-called, source, make, deliver. In the make side, we have smart factory. Right? Each of the pillar we have many initiatives. Then in the make pillar, we call the smart factory. In the beginning, in fact, nobody know how to do that. We really take how to do that and what kind of concrete benefit we can get. After we get the benefit, how we can quickly scale it. I believe the most difficult part is how we can quickly scale. We can easily find one or two the pilot case. Then if we do not build up some solid governance, solid methodology, then it's very difficult to scale. So luckily, we find a way. In fact, I share in another forum that we fully embedded with our Schneider production system. And also we define some, we so-called MMR, mandatory minimum requirement, which all the plants need implemented. And also some tailored solution based on the different maturity, different factory type. And also we set up a very strong, I would say, subject matter expert community. So we do have several successful try so that we prove that methodology can help us quickly scaling. So with that, in fact, after we launch in the second year or third year, we're already scaling to 100 smart factory. So I think that is one of the challenges we're facing. For sure, the second S is called the sustainable supply chain. Also, it's not something new, especially in Schneider, but we continue, to go deeper on some topic. Also at that time, we starting engaging with supplier. As I said in the beginning, many supplier a little bit hesitated, right? Because it's something quite new, but we believe we are doing the right thing. And we have some strategic alignment in the supply side because we know this is a big trend. And more and more top 500 companies, they will ask the supplier to do the same. So if we can move one step further, the supplier will also gain competitive advantage. So in fact, we spend a lot of time to align with our supplier on these common goal, common ambition, so that we can move on until now.
It's great, yeah, and we have some questions again on those issues coming after. So let me maybe jump into those questions from the audience first, and then if we are going or finishing with them, we can then come back to our own questions. But let me bring that first question, and I'm putting this on screen so everybody can see it. So IND, thanks for the presentation. Just wondering, how do you convince suppliers to actually do the work on CO2 reduction? Any resistance? Yeah, you mentioned a little bit, but if you can then respond to this one,
I think in the beginning there do some doubt. One of the things to say, if I do this CO2 reduction, my cost will be increased. That is the most common thing come out. But in fact, if you really, we share our own practice. If you bring all the equation together, many of these initiatives, in fact, help to save money. For example, we are talking about they are installing the solar roof. Now, at least what I see in East Asia, in many countries, the solar roof electricity, in fact, have saving versus you are buying from the traditional power grid. What I see is at least 10 to 15% of of the saving versus that. And also we can engage instead of CAPEX model, but using OPEX model. So this one, in fact, is saving. And other things like we mentioned, because there's some very, very mature solution. For example, how you install some sensor when the plant is not running, you can stop something. In fact, many of this activity, we also have some supplier like a molding supplier, right? We can also provide some solution. Finally, the ROI, the payback is not so long. In the end, we do not see the worry to say if I do CO2 reduction, I must increase the cost. So we do not see that necessary equation. In fact, many of the initiatives, in fact, bring some saving. So this is one point I want to mention. Secondly, we also want to guide our supplier to also have the entrepreneurship, because as I shared, not only one company, one government commitment to say on this, the sustainability journey, have this CO2 commitment. Now, our supplier, they do some progress with us, then that helps them, in fact, gain more business. For example, we're also testing some green material, right? If you use the green material, now the cost is still a little bit higher. For example, green plastics. But we're also working with the technical department to say, if we use a green material, then we merge with so-called value engineer together. When we use the different spec, overall we can still see it's not increase the cost or it's similar, but even some of them increase the cost. It's like short term you will increase the cost, but that in fact help the supplier. They can promote with their other customer. They in fact gain more business. So I think this is also more like investment. But I want to emphasize many of these technology, many of the solution, in fact, have good payback. We have proven that in our own factory. We also proven out that in many different supplier, molding, sheet metal, different type of supplier. But for sure, in the very beginning, it really need the strategic alignment. And also need for example, we spend a lot of time also help our supplier. We help them to do some energy audit. Then we're starting with the area that can bring most of the benefits. So I think it's in the beginning it's super important.
Okay, this is interesting. Thanks again for that question. Let's move on to the next one. So Yanisa is asking, which software do you use to track emissions? Is it all built in-house or do you partner with external platforms?
For our the internal factory, we use our own we call the EcoStruxure solution. We have this kind of software, but with our supplier or other, we'll provide a list of things. Supplier can select our solution or any other solution that they think they are suitable for them. I think on the market now there are many mature solution can tracking this. I do not remember the specific name. We do see some different supplier they are using different software, but for us we use EcoStruxure. It's our own solution.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is a question from Kartik. I say, please suggest how cost-wise sustainable packaging material is different to normal.
In fact, when we're driving sustainable packaging, we do have, I would say, two, three things. One is, the primary package versus logistic package. We're also driving like how we can killing the single-use plastics, and also for the carton box, we want to have the recycled, green carton box. We also have some certain criteria. Some of them we see some cost increase, and I cannot give you a detailed number, but for example, when we use before, we have many those plastic foaming, right? Now that one, we just invest in one machine inside of the DC or in the factory. Then you can use the recycled paper. You're just using that shredding machine that can be put inside the packaging of the cushion. That one we have saving. I would say overall, some of them we do need some investment. For example, we now still have some plastic packaging on the single product. That one we're also testing using some paper solution. That one is from cost wise is more costly versus plastic. But this one we also align with our marketing team because we want to branding ourselves as a leader on sustainability. So in fact, that also attract our customer. But for sure, it's not all of them you will have the positive benefits in the short term. For example, we also find some solution. The film. When you ship the pallet, you have these stretchy films. That one we also find some very good, I would say, cost-effective reusable solution. We buy something from Asian supplier. Some reusable either band or some the cloth. So in fact, if you look at the long term, one of them I just checked with them team roughly like less than 50 RMB. It's like 10 Singapore dollar. You can reuse several times. In fact, it's overall, I would say it's flat. So, but you need some investment. For example, the tape. I would say in the warehouse you have the tape. We transfer to paper tape. That paper tape now still more expensive than the plastic one. But we believe this is investment aligned with our overall strategy for the whole company.
Okay, excellent. Thanks again for the question, Kartik. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, super inspiring stuff. But how do you deal with internal teams who are not 100% on board with your sustainability mandate?
I think one side is we're a little bit lucky because we really starting this journey, as I mentioned, 15 even before I joined Schneider. 15
it's been a long time, yeah.
It's a long journey, but we do find sometimes you have a conflict, right? For example, we are now really even now we have this green material target, right? We have very specific target on many green material, and I'm running the operation. I'm in charge of P&L. Every year I need to deliver the P&L productivity cost reduction. That one firstly it's already a target within my overall target. Then I need to encourage my team to come out with some more innovative solution so that we can move forward. But as I mentioned, it's really a journey. You cannot solve in one time. I would encourage you. That because people like to debate. But my view is before we debate, let's try to find some area that can benefit both. It's a win-win solution. There in the sustainability topic or the CO2 topic, there are many win-win solutions. We can starting from there. It's not so cost increase, even can have some saving. There's a lot of things can do. If we can starting from there, then step by step, because the regulation, the law is also changed, right? But we need to find something to start first instead of debate too much. Then it will not have real movement. But it's better if in your company you also decided that this is a strategic move that will help even better, like what we now have in Schneider. But if not the case, I think it's both, right? Top down, you should have something. Bottom up, also better you think where I should trigger this discussion, move a little bit. Then it's like the snowball. It will go bigger and bigger. With, for example, in our company now is linked with bonus. You can decide not to do. Then everyone will fail on the bonus. That give a lot of leverage for the each of the manager to do the thing.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Let's take the next one. Question from Aime, who's asking, what was the sustainability team given a budget, CapEx, to drive this initiative effectively?
In fact, we have the so-called green CapEx, for example. It's within the overall yearly budget. Some of the budget is green CapEx. So this is the first thing. Secondly, As I mentioned, because this one become my KPI. It's not a sustainability team. It's my thing. So sustainability, as I mentioned, is one of the impact supply chain strategy. If I deploy that, it's just like I need to drive on-time delivery. I need to drive productivity. This one is also one of my pillar. I think if sustainability becomes the sustainability team's efforts, that will be very difficult. So I think the thing is, for sure, in the beginning, as I mentioned, we allocated some special budget to say, okay, within your overview of, for example, let's 100% of the budget, how much of them are linked with sustainability? We can do that, but step by step, we need to make that one become every P&L owners. When I say P&L, it's really, you may have a plant, right? The plant manager should also view this one as his own important things. It's just like a quality, like a safety. If every people think about the quality, safety is a quality team is a function, the responsibility, then it will become very difficult to really drive at each day-to-day operation.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Aimee, for this question. Let's take the next one. And again, if you have any other question, feel free to click on the question button at the bottom. We have around a little bit more than 10 minutes before we wrap up that session, so there's still time. But let's try to finish all those questions here. Question from Brian: What's one thing you tried that didn't work as planned? Always good to hear what didn't go right too.
I think we also have many. It's not really working. One thing now, our biggest challenge is how we can, achieve our so-called air shipment target, right? Because we have the air shipment, we have sea shipment. We all know like one ton of air shipment, maybe 20 times the CO2 consumption as sea shipment. We try different efforts, but then if finally we need to meet the customer needs, we have to do some compromise. And now this thing we are still working on that. I don't think we find a best solution on this part, especially when it's really linked with the customer satisfaction. We have to to urgent ship something. This one we still not. I would not say we still not 100% find a better solution yet. For sure, we are partnership with some forwarder, some logistic provider. They also provide some, like the pure, the electricity driven carrier. These things we are working many. In fact, we put a dedicated director level person drive the whole company on the transportation part. He do a lot of great job, but for example, for this one, for the air thing, we are not really working. Even just now I mentioned for the plastic bag, right? How you find some solution that can customer also feel happy, because plastic can be very convenient, right? You put some screw in the plastic, it's very convenient. Whether the paper thing can work or not, we try different solution. Also you need to control the cost. So those areas we spend a lot of efforts. So I think there are many things in fact are not working, to be totally transparent. But the good thing is the team continue trying. For example, I just heard that in my team they now found a new paper packaging solution. The cost is not so high as the previous version. So I'm thinking, if we can close the gap more closer, we can massively scale, something like that. But we should encourage people to really try different solutions. But we are also not like, okay, sustainability, that's to not care anything, we just move on. I think it's not like that. We need to promote innovation so that we can find some, as I mentioned, try to find some win-win solution.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next question. I really like this circular economy part. How do you manage trade-offs between cost versus sustainability when retrofitting products? Question from Sharon.
I'm not so sure I fully understand. It seems like in some industry, maybe the retrofit will have higher cost, right? Have higher cost versus if you do not retrofit. In our case, in fact, the customer, we are producing some equipment like the medium voltage switch gear or other thing, right? we have this service. In fact, some of these products are already very old. But because this used in some critical infrastructure, customer in fact prefer we can retrofit. Even we can retrofit other brand. One thing is it's not easy to find because the facility has been there more than 50 years, right? It's very difficult to use a new one. Customer in fact are willing to pay a lot for us to do the retrofit. And overall, we believe this is a good business because we are more like in the industry, like the B2B. We are managing some critical infrastructure, and overall, I do not see the from the cost wise, there's some big conflict. But maybe in the different industries, it's different. So I'm not fully to can answer this question. But in our industry so far, we are still doing good.
Okay, no problem. Thanks anyway for the question. Let's move on to the next one. Question from Thierry. Long question here, but what portion of your CO2 emissions reduction came from optimizing your existing processes with technology, machine learning, AI, and what part come from changing processes, materials, packaging, and transportation modes? Okay, so I think it's a changes, reduction coming from technology versus a more traditional way of changing your processes. Yeah. Do you have an idea? Yeah.
I do not remember the number, but I can check that and maybe I can come back. But okay. For sure, all of them are contribute to that. But I don't have the detailed number to say how much percentage. But I can take this one, then I can come back. Maybe you can leave some your email address. I can come back on that.
We can, and I think this Thierry, I will probably come back to you. Thierry is a regular anyway, so we can share that information after the discussion. But Thierry mentioned AI, which is obviously a hot topic. So how are you using AI now or Gen AI within those efforts and those programs? Is this changing the way that you're driving those things? And is it accelerating certain programs that you're already starting, or what is your take on this? Yeah.
In fact, we believe AI is the next biggest thing in the coming 10 years. It will fundamentally change. I cannot say everything, but many things will be changed. At least now, what we are using, for example, I separated by two parts. One is inside the factory and the DC. The other one is inside the planning function. So I will quickly comment on this. Inside the factory, we use a lot of the AI, for example, on the AI-based preventive maintenance. This one is really helpful, especially on the machine that consume high energy, low OEE. That really help a lot. They can. Before, we also do the TPM, right? But with AI, you can make it more effective. The many things without AI, you need very experienced people, but with AI, really solve a lot. We also have a lot of AI-based visual inspection. This one is also quite mature. You can just use a normal camera, then you use some AI algorithm very easily. You can find a good saving. And also all the AI used to adjust the parameter in the different machines so that you can control quality. In fact, in each of my scope, I ask the factory to come out end-to-end process roadmap. Okay, just like I call it, the digital diagnosis. You put everything there, then you say which one can AI. Then you can, in the whole picture, you can see which area has been used, should be used, not used. Or we try, then I can make sure scaling. Because for me, it's scaling. It's not like a one showcase. Finally, I want to get the result. So we already find many good opportunity. On the planning part, for example, I just now mentioned, the how we can reduce the CO2 on the transportation part. If you ask the root cause, finally, it's still coming from poor planning. And the planning part, I believe this is a huge change. I cannot share too much. We are now still in the learning journey. We have this so-called self-healing parameter setting, safety stock, lead time, all these things. We have already have forecast accuracy improvement. We're working with some startup. We do see some case by case, many good user case. We're now still in the journey to see how we can integrate all the things together so that we can better utilize AI. But this is something huge. I think we need every company need immediate investment, more time, resources on this area.
Yeah, big impact. Yeah, I just put on screen that question from Alex also, which kind of related. I think it's somewhere similar to what Thierry was asking. How do you account for and reconcile the efficiencies and process improvement related to sustainability, what comes with using AI versus the increased carbon emission that AI use generate?
I think this is a really quite interesting question. What I learned is that one click of one search on ChatGPT use like, I do not remember the detailed number, like 20 times of you search in Google.
Yeah, it's
energy
quite
consumption,
energy intense. Yeah.
Yes, and the good thing is in Schneider we also have the solution to help the data center more energy efficiency. We're producing UPS. We're producing all the we're producing all the new cooling system. All the AI-based database. We also provide all the, as I mentioned, we have 2 BU, right? Energy management. We are number 1 in the energy management. All the things use the electricity distribution power net. We are the number 1 provider in the world. And as I mentioned, within this, we add a lot of IoT technology, the sensor, all these things. And with this sensor, as I mentioned, we have the software. We can easily measure where we have the consumption, how we can optimize that for the data center. I think, this area was the full solution. But overall, for example, how to power a data center, the other side, maybe they use the nuclear facility or other power generation plant. That in fact is not in our specialized area. We count on other companies, they can also provide some solution. But we do contribute on this because we provide a solution to make the data center running more efficient. We have the cooling system, with using our system, we also save a lot of the energy running a data center. But I think this is a very, very interesting question, right? When you're using AI, you consume more energy, but how we can use AI saving more, then the net saving is overall beneficial for the global.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big topic for large companies as well. Okay, so I think we have one more question, and I kept the question for the end because I think it was perfect to kind of wrap up this discussion. Looking ahead, what are the other next big priorities for Schneider Electric supply chain in 2025? Of course, you probably have many. If you had to pick another one beyond sustainability, what would be that priority for you, for this year, beyond AI as well, because probably AI is a big one too.
In fact, each year we will define something like a Hoshen, right? I have my Hoshen 2025. I define on top of the day-to-day operation, I have 5 transformation I'm driving. One is linked with the people side. We have some specific program. I want to further promote the young talent, how we can take the leadership role. That is some area I want to boost in. Then the second thing is really linked with AI. I even hire a dedicated VP level to driving the planning transformation. That is a big topic on AI. Now almost, I just finished a meeting in the morning with different people. I think every week now I spend a lot of time to learning. We're also partnership with Amazon to learning from them. This is the big things. Then the third thing, we also spend a lot of time on regionalization and localization. We are building a great foundation on resilience, in the past year during COVID. And now we want our supply chain become more regionalized and local. We already quite regional and local, but we want to go one step further. So this is also one of my top agenda. I don't know how many I covered, but it's
No,
at least
I think that's it. That's enough. That's
in my mind.
great. Yeah. Obviously, you're going to be busy with those topics and those programs already. Thank you very much, Andy. That was very interesting. Great presentation. I think you spent the time to really answer those questions. I also want to thank the audience for being here and asking all those interesting questions for Andy. So that was again. Thanks, Andy. It was great. Do you have anything final just to add? We have 1 more minute before we end this session.
In fact, we also have many challenges. I really like to learning from others. If you have something good, we can also connect. I think it's a good platform, Max. We can really learning from each other. We are quite open. We want to learn all the good things, copy with pride from different company, different industry.
Definitely, and we can, as you know, we organize regular forums and roundtables and discussion on different topics. AI is one of them. So we'll definitely invite you and get you and your team involved in those discussions, so you can hear also on what the other companies are doing in that space. So thanks a lot, guys, for again being with us. Thank you, Andy, for taking the time for answering and presenting us what you guys are doing within Schneider Electric. This was again our case study with Andy Yu from Schneider Electric. We will do this again very soon, and we look forward again to see you at our next event. Our next event is next week. We have one of the senior director, actually the supply chain director of Electrolux, joining us next week for an AMA, Ask Me Anything on supply chain, which also should be quite interesting. Thank you very much, Andy. We look forward again to see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.